Welcome to Audiobook's Vault. In this video, we will summarize the book Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. Let's start. Introduction. Imagine waking up one day to find that the one thing you've always relied on, the foundation of your comfort and success, is suddenly gone. What would you do? Would you resist the change, clinging to the past, or would you muster the courage to adapt and seek out new opportunities? Who Moved My Cheese? By Spencer Johnson is a simple yet profound fable that explores this very scenario. Through the adventures of four characters, two industrious mice, Sniff and Scurry, and two cautious humans, Hem and Haw, the story delves into the universal challenge of dealing with change. Set in a metaphorical maze, their quest for cheese, a symbol for what you value most in life, becomes a journey of self-discovery, resilience, and growth. This book captivates readers with its relatable characters, humorous situations, and timeless wisdom. Whether you're navigating a career shift, managing relationships, or simply striving for personal growth, Who Moved My Cheese provides valuable insights that can transform how you approach life's uncertainties. Quick to read but deeply impactful, this modern classic will leave you reflecting, laughing, and inspired to embrace change in a way you never imagined. Part 1. The Maze and the Characters. In the opening of the main story from Who Moved My Cheese, the narrative introduces us to a simple yet metaphorical world. This world consists of a maze and four distinct characters. Two mice named Sniff and Scurry, and two tiny, human-like beings named Hem and Haw. Each character represents a different way of thinking and approaching life's challenges, particularly change. The maze symbolizes the environment in which these characters live and operate. It is vast, complex, and full of winding passages, much like the real world. The maze contains a cheese, a metaphor for what people desire most in life. For some, cheese might signify material success. For others, it could represent personal relationships, happiness, or a sense of fulfillment. The different interpretations of cheese depend on individual aspirations, which vary for each character. The characters and their traits. The four characters are carefully crafted to illustrate different personality types and responses to change. Sniff. As his name suggests, Sniff has a keen sense of awareness. He quickly detects changes in the environment, sniffing out subtle signs of shifts or disturbances. Sniff is proactive, observant, and ready to adapt at a moment's notice. Scurry. Scurry is action-oriented and energetic. Once Sniff identifies a change, Scurry springs into action without hesitation. Though not highly analytical, Scurry is efficient in his simplicity, focusing on moving forward and finding solutions. Hem. Hem represents resistance to change. He is stubborn, fearful, and complacent, preferring the safety of routine and the status quo. Hem struggles with letting go of old ways and tends to deny or avoid uncomfortable realities. Haw. Haw is more complex. He initially shares Hem's resistance to change but is capable of self-reflection and growth. While hesitant at first, Haw demonstrates the ability to learn, adapt, and eventually embrace change when pushed. These characters embody traits that readers can relate to in themselves or others. The contrast between the mice and the little people highlights how humans' emotions, egos, and overthinking can sometimes hinder them, while simplicity and instinct often lead to success. The Maze. A world of opportunity and uncertainty. The maze itself is a central metaphor in the story. It represents the world in which the characters live, a place filled with opportunities, challenges, and uncertainties. Just like the real world, the maze is constantly changing. Success in the maze requires the ability to navigate its twists and turns, adapt to shifting circumstances, and stay focused on finding cheese. The maze contains several stations where cheese can be found. These stations symbolize various goals or achievements in life, such as career success, relationships, or personal fulfillment. However, the availability of cheese is not guaranteed. Some stations might be abundant, while others may be empty. Importantly, cheese supplies at any given station are not permanent, they can run out or shift without warning. Finding cheese at Cheese Station C. Early in the story, all four characters set out on a quest to find cheese. Sniff and Scurry use their simple instincts and straightforward approach to navigate the maze. They run through corridors, sniffing out clues and checking every corner until they discover Cheese Station C, a bountiful source of cheese. Their uncomplicated mindset enables them to reach their goal quickly and effectively. Hem and Haw, on the other hand, take a more deliberate and analytical approach. They eventually find Cheese Station C as well, but their journey is slower and more hesitant. When they arrive, they are thrilled to discover the large supply of cheese. Over time, they grow comfortable and confident, assuming the cheese will always be there. The characters' responses to comfort and complacency. As days turn into weeks, the characters' behaviors at Cheese Station C diverge, revealing key differences in their mindsets. Sniff and Scurry's vigilance. Sniff and Scurry continue to monitor the situation at Station C. While they enjoy the cheese, they remain alert to changes in their surroundings. They explore nearby parts of the maze and keep track of the cheese supply, noticing subtle signs that it may be dwindling. Their instincts tell them to stay prepared for the possibility of change. Hem and Haw's complacency. In contrast, Hem and Haw become increasingly complacent. They view the cheese at Station C as their entitlement, something they deserve and can depend on indefinitely. Hem, in particular, takes the cheese for granted, believing it will always be there and that there is no need to consider other possibilities. Haw shares Hem's attitude, though he occasionally wonders what might happen if the cheese runs out. The little people's sense of security at Station C leads them to ignore potential warning signs. They fail to notice the subtle changes in the cheese, such as its diminishing quantity and stale quality. Their overconfidence blinds them to the possibility of change, setting the stage for the challenges to come. The lesson of awareness and preparation. This part of the story introduces one of the key lessons of Who Moved My Cheese? The importance of staying aware and prepared. Sniff and Scurry's vigilant approach contrasts sharply with Hem and Haw's complacency, emphasizing that success often depends on the ability to anticipate and adapt to change. The characters' differing responses to their environment highlight the dangers of taking things for granted and the value of maintaining a proactive mindset. A universal metaphor. Part 1 serves as a universal metaphor for how people navigate life's challenges and pursue their goals. The maze represents the unpredictable nature of the world, while the cheese symbolizes the things we strive for. The characters' varying traits and behaviors illustrate common responses to success and change, encouraging readers to reflect on their own attitudes and actions. By the end of this part, the stage is set for the story's central conflict: the inevitable disappearance of the cheese at Station C. This turning point will test each character's ability to cope with change and adapt to new circumstances, revealing valuable lessons about resilience, flexibility, and personal growth. Part 2. Signs of change ignored. Part 2 of Who Moved My Cheese? Focuses on the gradual changes occurring at Cheese Station C and how the four characters, Sniff, Scurry, Hem, and Haw, respond to these changes. It delves into the themes of complacency, denial, and awareness, offering a stark contrast between proactive and reactive mindsets. The decline of cheese at Station C. The large stash of cheese at Station C, which had once seemed endless, begins to diminish. Over time, the quantity of cheese decreases, and its quality deteriorates. For those paying attention, the signs are clear. The cheese is running out. However, the characters react very differently to this situation. Sniff and Scurry's vigilance. Sniff and Scurry, the mice, remain alert to their surroundings. They instinctively notice that the cheese is shrinking and becoming stale. Rather than ignoring these changes, they acknowledge them as part of the natural flow of life in the maze. The mice do not overthink the situation or resist the reality of change. They prepare themselves to adapt by staying mentally and physically ready to search for new cheese. Sniff keeps an eye out for new opportunities, while Scurry ensures they are ready to act quickly when the time comes. Hem and Haw's complacency. In contrast, Hem and Haw, the little people, remain oblivious to the changes. Having grown comfortable and reliant on the cheese at Station C, they choose to ignore the warning signs. Hem, in particular, refuses to entertain the possibility that the cheese might run out. He believes the supply is permanent, asserting that they deserve the cheese they have found. Hem's denial blinds him to reality and prevents him from taking any proactive steps. Haw, while initially aligned with Hem's thinking, begins to feel uneasy. He notices subtle signs that the situation at Station C might not be as secure as it seems. However, instead of acting on his instincts, Haw suppresses his doubts, afraid of confronting an uncertain future. Comfort breeds complacency. Hem and Haw's behavior at Station C highlights a key theme in the story. How comfort can lead to complacency. Over time, the little people become entirely dependent on the cheese at Station C. They see it as their rightful reward for the effort they put into finding it and fail to consider the possibility of change. This sense of entitlement makes them resistant to the idea of leaving Station C or seeking new cheese. They build their lives around the cheese, taking it for granted and assuming it will always be available. This mindset creates a false sense of security, which prevents them from adapting to the inevitable changes in their environment. Denial of change. As the supply of cheese continues to dwindle, Hem and Haw remain in denial. Hem rationalizes their inaction by dismissing the signs of change. He argues that the situation will improve on its own and that there is no need to worry or take action. Haw, on the other hand, feels an internal conflict. While part of him wants to believe Hem's reassurances, another part senses that something is wrong. Haw's fear of the unknown keeps him rooted in place, despite his growing doubts about the stability of their situation. This denial of change is a common human reaction, illustrating how fear and resistance can prevent people from confronting uncomfortable truths. Hem and Haw's unwillingness to acknowledge reality contrasts sharply with Sniff and Scurry's readiness to adapt, emphasizing the consequences of ignoring signs of change. The mice's quiet preparation. While Hem and Haw cling to their illusions of security, Sniff and Scurry quietly prepare for the inevitable. Their simple, instinct-driven approach allows them to accept reality without overanalyzing it. The mice's proactive mindset is characterized by awareness. Sniff and Scurry stay attuned to their environment, noticing even the smallest changes in the cheese supply. Acceptance. Rather than resisting the reality of change, they accept it as a natural part of life in the maze. Action. They begin exploring nearby parts of the maze, mapping out potential paths to new cheese. Sniff and Scurry's preparation serves as a reminder of the importance of staying vigilant and adaptable, even when things seem stable. The little people's growing tension. As time passes, the tension between Hem and Haw's perspectives begins to grow. Hem remains firmly rooted in his denial, insisting that they do not need to leave Station C. He mocks the idea of venturing into the unknown, dismissing it as unnecessary and dangerous. Haw, however, starts to question Hem's outlook. He notices the increasingly empty shelves at Station C and the deteriorating quality of the remaining cheese. Haw begins to wonder if staying at Station C is truly the best option. Despite his doubts, Haw's fear of leaving his comfort zone keeps him from taking action. The cost of ignoring change. This part of the story underscores the cost of ignoring change. While Sniff and Scurry prepare themselves to adapt, Hem and Haw remain stuck in their old ways, unable to move forward. The little people's resistance to change reflects common human behaviors, such as denial, refusing to acknowledge uncomfortable truths, rationalization, creating excuses to justify inaction, fear, letting the fear of the unknown prevent progress. By illustrating these behaviors, the story encourages readers to reflect on their own responses to change and consider the potential consequences of ignoring the signs of change in their lives. The lesson. Awareness is key. Part 2 of the story delivers a crucial lesson. Awareness and vigilance are essential for adapting to change. Sniff and Scurry's ability to notice and accept the signs of change enables them to prepare for the future, while Hem and Haw's complacency leaves them vulnerable to the challenges ahead. This part also highlights the importance of maintaining a proactive mindset. Rather than waiting for problems to arise, Sniff and Scurry take steps to anticipate and address potential challenges. Their approach serves as a model for resilience and adaptability, qualities that are vital for navigating life's uncertainties. Foreshadowing the turning point. As the supply of cheese at Station C continues to dwindle, it becomes clear that a major shift is imminent. The mice are ready to adapt and move on, while the little people remain unprepared and resistant. This divergence in mindset sets the stage for the story's turning point. The day the cheese at Station C is completely gone. Part 2 serves as a pivotal moment in the narrative, highlighting the contrast between proactive and reactive responses to change. It emphasizes the dangers of complacency and denial, while foreshadowing the challenges that Hem and Haw will face when they are forced to confront reality. Part 3. The cheese is gone. Part 3 of Who Moved My Cheese? Marks a pivotal moment in the story as the cheese at Station C is completely gone. This event sets the stage for dramatic shifts in the behavior of the four characters, Sniff, Scurry, Hem, and Haw, offering insights into how people respond to unexpected and inevitable changes in life. The absence of cheese becomes a metaphor for losing what one values most, whether it be a job, a relationship, or a sense of security. The shock of the empty station. One day, all four characters arrive at Cheese Station C to find that the cheese is gone. For Sniff and Scurry, this development is not surprising. They had anticipated the dwindling supply and mentally prepared for the change. They immediately realize they need to move on and search for new cheese in the maze. However, for Hem and Haw, the discovery is shocking and disorienting. They had grown complacent and reliant on the abundance of cheese at Station C, assuming it would always be there. Their initial reactions are a mix of disbelief, frustration, and fear. The little people struggle to come to terms with the new reality, unable to comprehend how the cheese could simply disappear. Sniff and Scurry's immediate action. Sniff and Scurry's response is simple and instinctive. They quickly assess the situation, acknowledge that the cheese is gone, and set off into the maze to find new cheese. Their approach is characterized by a lack of overthinking or emotional resistance. For the mice, the disappearance of the cheese is just another change to adapt to, not a personal affront or catastrophic event. Sniff. Using his keen sense of awareness, Sniff detects the best possible direction to begin their search. Scurry. With his action-oriented mindset, Scurry starts exploring the maze without hesitation. The mice's ability to act decisively highlights the value of preparation, adaptability, and a straightforward mindset when facing change. Hem and Haw's resistance to change. Hem and Haw's reaction, in stark contrast, is marked by denial and resistance. Hem, in particular, is furious about the absence of cheese. He insists that the situation is unfair and blames external forces for the loss. Rather than acknowledging the reality of change, Hem clings to the belief that the cheese will return if they wait long enough. Haw initially aligns with Hem's perspective. Both little people search Station C repeatedly, hoping to find cheese hidden somewhere. Complain about the injustice of the situation. Refuse to venture into the maze, fearing the uncertainty and risks of the unknown. This resistance stems from their fear of leaving their comfort zone. Having spent so much time at Station C, they have built their lives around the cheese, associating it with security and happiness. The thought of searching for new cheese in the unpredictable maze fills them with anxiety. The emotional and mental struggles of Hem and Haw. As time passes, Hem and Haw experience a range of emotions, from anger and frustration to sadness and despair. Hem remains firmly rooted in his resistance, doubling down on his belief that staying at Station C is the best option. He argues that it is better to wait for the cheese to return than to risk failure or danger by venturing into the unknown. Haw, however, begins to question this mindset. While he is still hesitant to leave Station C, he starts to feel a growing sense of unease about their situation. Haw wonders if staying in one place and hoping for the cheese to return is truly the right decision. He reflects on their lack of action and starts to consider the possibility that they may need to adapt to the new circumstances. This internal conflict highlights the psychological barriers to change that many people face. Haw's struggle between fear and curiosity mirrors the experience of those who grapple with leaving behind familiar but unsatisfying situations in search of something better. The role of fear in resistance. Hem and Haw's resistance to leaving Station C is rooted in fear, fear of the unknown, fear of failure, and fear of losing the comfort and safety they associate with the cheese. This fear paralyzes them, preventing them from taking action or exploring new possibilities. Hem's fear. Hem's fear manifests as stubbornness and denial. He refuses to acknowledge the reality of change, instead clinging to the hope that things will return to the way they were. Hem's fear of failure and uncertainty keeps him locked in place, unwilling to take even the smallest step toward adaptation. Haw's fear. Haw's fear is more nuanced. While he shares Hem's initial hesitation, he begins to recognize that staying in one place and doing nothing might be even riskier than venturing into the maze. This realization sets the stage for Haw's eventual transformation. The story uses these contrasting reactions to illustrate the different ways people respond to fear and uncertainty. It underscores the idea that fear, while natural, can either paralyze or motivate, depending on how it is managed. The importance of perspective. A key theme in this part of the story is the importance of perspective. While Hem and Haw view the disappearance of cheese as a catastrophic event, Sniff and Scurry see it as a natural part of life in the maze. This difference in perspective shapes their responses and ultimately determines their ability to move forward. The mice's simple, instinctive approach allows them to adapt quickly and effectively, while the little people's complex emotions and overthinking lead to stagnation. The story encourages readers to consider how their own perspectives influence their ability to handle change. Foreshadowing Haw's transformation. Although Hem remains deeply entrenched in his resistance to change, Haw begins to show signs of self-reflection. He starts to question whether waiting for the cheese to return is truly the best course of action. Haw's growing curiosity and willingness to entertain new ideas foreshadow his eventual transformation. Haw's internal struggle serves as a reminder that change often begins with small shifts in mindset. By allowing himself to question his assumptions and consider new possibilities, Haw takes the first steps toward embracing change and seeking new opportunities. Lessons from the empty station. Part 3 delivers several key lessons about how to respond to unexpected changes in life. Anticipate change. Sniff and Scurry's ability to anticipate and prepare for change highlights the importance of staying vigilant and proactive. By monitoring their environment and remaining open to new possibilities, they are able to adapt quickly and effectively. Accept reality. Hem and Haw's initial denial of the situation demonstrates the dangers of resisting reality. Accepting change is a crucial step in moving forward and finding new opportunities. Take action. Sniff and Scurry's immediate decision to venture into the maze underscores the value of taking decisive action. Waiting for things to return to the way they were is often counterproductive, as change is inevitable. Overcome fear. Haw's growing self-awareness illustrates the importance of confronting fear and stepping outside of one's comfort zone. While fear is natural, it should not prevent progress or exploration. Part 4. Venturing into the maze. Part 4 of Who Moved My Cheese? Marks a transformative phase in the story, as Haw begins to confront his fears and take steps toward adapting to the new reality. This part captures the emotional and psychological journey of moving from resistance to acceptance and ultimately to action. It highlights the power of courage, curiosity, and a growth-oriented mindset when facing change. The turning point for Haw. As the days pass and the absence of cheese at Station C becomes undeniable, the tension between Hem and Haw's perspectives deepens. Hem remains firmly entrenched in his denial, refusing to acknowledge the need for change. He insists that staying at Station C is the safest and smartest choice, hoping the cheese will somehow return. Haw, on the other hand, begins to experience a shift in his mindset. Although he initially shares Hem's resistance, he grows increasingly dissatisfied with their stagnant situation. The realization dawns on him. If they continue waiting, nothing will improve. Haw starts to consider the possibility of venturing into the maze to search for new cheese. Facing fear of the unknown. Haw's internal conflict revolves around his fear of the unknown. The maze is vast, unpredictable, and potentially dangerous. What if he gets lost? What if there is no new cheese to be found? These fears keep him tethered to Station C, even as he begins to question the logic of staying. However, Ho's growing dissatisfaction with his circumstances outweighs his fear. He recognizes that the comfort of Station C is an illusion; it no longer provides the security it once did. This realization prompts him to take his first steps toward embracing change. A critical question. Ho asks himself a pivotal question. What would I do if I weren't afraid? This question becomes a turning point as it shifts his focus from fear to possibility. Imagining the rewards. Ho starts to visualize the potential rewards of venturing into the maze. He imagines finding new cheese, regaining his sense of purpose, and experiencing the joy of success. These positive images fuel his motivation and help him overcome his hesitation. Ho's decision to leave. Ho finally decides to leave Station C and explore the maze. This decision is both a physical and symbolic act, representing his willingness to embrace change and take control of his future. By stepping into the unknown, Ho demonstrates courage and determination, qualities that are essential for growth and transformation. Before leaving, Ho tries to convince Hem to join him. He shares his realization that staying at Station C is no longer a viable option and encourages Hem to come along. However, Hem refuses, clinging to his belief that leaving the station is too risky. Despite his efforts, Ho is unable to persuade Hem, and he sets off into the maze alone. The challenges of the maze. As Ho ventures into the maze, he encounters a series of challenges that test his resilience and adaptability. The maze is unfamiliar and intimidating, filled with twists, turns, and dead ends. At first, Ho feels overwhelmed and uncertain about his decision. Doubts creep in, and he wonders if he made a mistake by leaving Station C. However, Ho perseveres. He reminds himself that the journey is part of the process and that each step brings him closer to finding new cheese. By embracing the challenges of the maze, Ho begins to build confidence in his ability to adapt and overcome obstacles. Learning through exploration. Ho starts to see the maze as an opportunity for growth and learning. Each dead end teaches him something new, helping him refine his approach and navigate more effectively. Developing resilience. The initial hardships of the maze strengthen Ho's determination. He learns to view setbacks as temporary and continues moving forward with a positive attitude. The power of positive thinking. Ho's journey through the maze is marked by a shift in his mindset. He begins to replace fear and negativity with optimism and hope. This change in perspective allows him to focus on possibilities rather than limitations, empowering him to take proactive steps toward his goal. Writing on the walls. As he explores the maze, Ho leaves messages on the walls to guide himself and others who might follow. These messages serve as reminders of the lessons he is learning and the insights he gains along the way. Examples include: if you do not change, you can become extinct. What would you do if you weren't afraid? Smell the cheese often so you know when it is getting old. These messages reflect Ho's evolving perspective and his commitment to embracing change. They also serve as a form of self-encouragement, helping him stay motivated and focused on his journey. Moments of doubt and reflection. Despite his progress, Ho occasionally experiences moments of doubt. He wonders if he made the right choice by leaving Station C and worries about what lies ahead. During these moments, Ho reflects on the lessons he has learned and reminds himself of the reasons he chose to leave. One of the most significant realizations Ho has is that fear often exaggerates the risks of change. By confronting his fears and taking action, he discovers that the challenges of the maze are not as insurmountable as he once imagined. This realization bolsters his confidence and reinforces his belief in the value of adaptation. The joy of progress. As Ho continues his journey, he begins to experience small victories. He discovers traces of new cheese in the maze, crumbs and small pieces that indicate he is on the right track. These discoveries fill him with a sense of accomplishment and renew his hope. Celebrating success. Ho takes time to celebrate each step forward, no matter how small. These moments of joy remind him that progress is possible and that his efforts are paying off. Strengthening resolve. The taste of new cheese motivates Hor to keep exploring. He becomes more confident in his ability to find a larger supply and more determined to continue his journey. Lessons from the journey. Hor's experience in the maze teaches him several important lessons about change and adaptation. Change is inevitable. The disappearance of cheese at Station C is a reminder that nothing in life is permanent. Embracing change is essential for growth and survival. Action overcomes fear. Hor learns that taking action is the most effective way to overcome fear. By stepping into the maze, he discovers that the challenges he feared are manageable. Adaptability is key. The maze requires Hor to adapt and adjust his approach. Flexibility and openness to new experiences are crucial for navigating change successfully. Attitude matters. Hor's shift from fear to optimism transforms his journey. A positive attitude enables him to persevere and find joy in the process. Foreshadowing a new beginning. By the end of Part 4, Hor is no longer the same person who clung to Station C out of fear. He has embraced the uncertainty of the maze and begun to see it as an opportunity for growth and discovery. While he has not yet found a large supply of new cheese, his progress and newfound confidence foreshadow a brighter future. Hor's journey serves as a powerful metaphor for the process of personal transformation. It demonstrates that even in the face of fear and uncertainty, change can lead to growth, success, and fulfillment. Part 5. Finding New Cheese. Part 5 of Who Moved My Cheese? Represents the culmination of Hor's transformative journey as he finds new cheese. This segment of the story underscores the rewards of courage, adaptability, and proactive action in the face of change. Hor's discovery is more than just a physical triumph, it is also a moment of profound personal growth and realization. In this part, Hor learns valuable lessons about embracing change and shares insights for others, including him, who may eventually follow in his footsteps. A renewed sense of purpose. As Hor progresses deeper into the maze, he feels an invigorated sense of purpose. The small discoveries of cheese he made earlier motivated him to continue searching. These morsels served as both literal sustenance and symbolic proof that new opportunities exist if one is willing to leave their comfort zone and venture into the unknown. Hor's perspective on the journey itself shifts as well. Instead of viewing the maze as an intimidating obstacle, he begins to see it as a dynamic environment filled with opportunities for growth and learning. His confidence grows, and he becomes increasingly excited about what lies ahead. Discovering the new cheese station. After much exploration, Hor finally stumbles upon a new cheese station, Station N. This station is brimming with a variety of fresh and abundant cheese, far exceeding his expectations. The sight of the new cheese fills Hor with joy and gratitude. It is a moment of triumph, symbolizing the rewards of his persistence and willingness to adapt. Hor takes time to savor his discovery, reflecting on the long and challenging journey that brought him to this point. The experience of finding new cheese reinforces the idea that change, while difficult, often leads to better opportunities and greater fulfillment. The lessons learned from change. As Hor enjoys the new cheese, he reflects on the lessons he has learned throughout his journey. These insights are not only applicable to his own life but are also valuable lessons for anyone facing change. Change happens. Hor realizes that change is an inevitable part of life. The disappearance of cheese at Station C was not personal or unfair, it was simply a natural occurrence. Learning to anticipate and accept change is crucial for navigating life successfully. Adaptation is key. Hor acknowledges that his ability to adapt was the key to his success. Instead of clinging to the past, he chose to explore new possibilities, which ultimately led him to a better outcome. Fear is a barrier. One of Hor's most important realizations is that fear often prevents people from taking action. By confronting his fears and venturing into the maze, he discovered that the risks were manageable and the rewards were worth the effort. The journey is as important as the destination. While finding new cheese is a significant achievement, Hor also values the personal growth and insights he gained during his journey. The process of exploring the maze taught him resilience, patience, and optimism. Celebrate success. Hor takes time to appreciate his success and reflect on his accomplishments. Celebrating milestones, no matter how small, helps build confidence and reinforces a positive mindset. Hor's concern for Hem. Even as Hor revels in his discovery, he cannot help but think about Hem, who remains stuck at Station C. Hor feels a mix of sadness and concern for his friend, knowing that Hem is unlikely to experience the same joy and success unless he overcomes his fear and resistance to change. In an effort to help Hem, Hor leaves messages on the walls of the maze, hoping they will guide Hem if he ever decides to leave Station C. These messages encapsulate the lessons Hor has learned, serving as both encouragement and practical advice. Some of the key messages include: movement in a new direction helps you find new cheese. When you move beyond your fear, you feel free. Imagining myself enjoying new cheese even before I find it leads me to it. Hor hopes that these messages will inspire Hem to take action and embark on his own journey of discovery. Reflecting on the old station. Hor briefly reflects on Station C and the time he spent there with Hem. While he initially mourned the loss of the cheese and resisted leaving, he now sees that staying at Station C was a mistake. The station no longer served his needs, and clinging to it out of fear only prolonged his suffering. This reflection helps Hor appreciate the importance of letting go of the past. He realizes that holding on to outdated beliefs, habits, or environments can prevent people from embracing new opportunities and achieving their full potential. Adopting a growth mindset. Hor's experiences in the maze and his discovery of new cheese reinforce the value of a growth mindset. Instead of viewing change as a threat, Hor learns to see it as an opportunity for growth and improvement. This shift in mindset transforms his approach to life, making him more resilient and adaptable. Some key aspects of Hor's growth mindset include: curiosity. Hor becomes more curious about the world around him, exploring the maze with an open mind and a willingness to learn. Optimism. Hor replaces his initial negativity with a positive outlook, focusing on possibilities rather than limitations. Self-reflection. Throughout his journey, Hor takes time to reflect on his actions, thoughts, and feelings, using these insights to make better decisions. Planning for the future. As Hor settles into Station N, he begins to think about the future. He recognizes that the new cheese, while abundant, is not permanent. Change is inevitable, and he must remain vigilant and proactive to avoid becoming complacent. To prepare for future changes, Hor adopts several strategies. Monitor the cheese. Hor resolves to regularly check the condition of the cheese, ensuring that he is aware of any signs of decline or change. Stay adaptable. Hor commits to maintaining his flexibility and openness to new opportunities, ready to move on if necessary. Anticipate change. Hor understands that change is a constant in life, and he plans to stay prepared for whatever challenges or opportunities lie ahead. The joy of sharing knowledge. Hor finds immense satisfaction in sharing the lessons he has learned. By leaving messages on the walls of the maze and reflecting on his journey, he hopes to inspire others, including Hem, to embrace change and seek new opportunities. This act of sharing knowledge underscores the importance of community and mutual support in navigating change. Hor realizes that his success is not just about finding new cheese for himself, it is also about helping others discover their own paths to fulfillment. A new chapter begins. Part 5 concludes with Hor fully embracing his new reality. He feels a sense of liberation and empowerment, knowing that he has successfully navigated the challenges of change and emerged stronger. Hor's journey is far from over, but he is ready to face whatever comes next with courage and optimism. Hor's transformation serves as a powerful reminder of the potential for growth and renewal that exists within every challenge. His story encourages readers to confront their fears, take action, and embrace the opportunities that change can bring. Part 6. The story within the story. Part 6 of Who Moved My Cheese? Takes readers beyond the fictional tale of the maze and cheese, returning to the group of former classmates who gathered to hear the story. This section is about processing, applying, and reflecting on the lessons from the parable. Through their discussion, the classmates explore how the story relates to their own lives and work, offering insights into adapting to change and how it impacts both individuals and organizations. This part serves as a bridge between the parable and real-life application, emphasizing the practical importance of embracing change, maintaining flexibility, and fostering a growth-oriented mindset in different contexts. The group's reactions to the story. After Michael finishes recounting the parable of Who Moved My Cheese, the group begins to discuss its meaning and relevance. Each person interprets the story differently based on their personal experiences, which highlights the universality of the lessons it conveys. Recognition of the characters. The classmates identify aspects of themselves in the characters. Sniff, scurry, hem, and haw. Some admit they have been like hem in resisting change, while others see themselves in haw, eventually adapting and thriving. A few recognize qualities of sniff and scurry in their own proactive and agile responses to challenges. Relevance to real life. The group discusses how the story mirrors the changes they have experienced in their careers, relationships, and personal lives. From corporate restructuring to shifting market trends, they acknowledge that change is inevitable and must be addressed effectively. Personal reflections on change. Each member of the group shares how they have dealt with change in the past, reflecting on both successes and failures. Their stories reveal a variety of attitudes toward change and the lessons they have learned along the way. Anna's realization. Anna admits that she often resisted change at work, especially when new systems or processes were introduced. However, she recognizes that her resistance usually stemmed from fear of the unknown. After hearing the story, she feels inspired to adopt a more open and curious attitude toward change. Nathan's experience. Nathan shares a story about a major career shift he underwent after losing his job. Initially, he was devastated and fearful, much like Hem. Over time, he realized that the setback was an opportunity to pursue a more fulfilling career path. Nathan sees himself in Haw, who overcame fear and ventured into the maze. Jessica's approach. Jessica explains that she has always tried to anticipate change, like Sniff, and adapt quickly, like Scurry. She believes that this proactive mindset has helped her stay ahead of challenges and seize opportunities. However, she acknowledges that even she can become complacent at times and must remain vigilant. Applying the lessons in work and life. The discussion shifts to practical strategies for applying the lessons from the story in both personal and professional contexts. The group explores how individuals, teams, and organizations can embrace change more effectively. Anticipating change. One of the key takeaways is the importance of being proactive and staying aware of potential changes. By smelling the cheese often, individuals and organizations can identify early signs of change and prepare accordingly. Overcoming fear. The classmates agree that fear is a common barrier to change. By asking themselves questions like, "What would I do if I weren't afraid?" they can shift their focus from fear to possibility. Taking action. The story emphasizes the value of action in overcoming inertia. Whether it's updating skills, exploring new opportunities, or experimenting with different approaches, taking small steps can lead to significant progress. Learning from setbacks. The group discusses how failures and setbacks are an inevitable part of the process. Instead of being discouraged, they can view these experiences as opportunities to learn and improve. Embracing change as a journey. Just as Haw discovered that the journey through the maze was as valuable as finding the cheese, the classmates recognized the importance of personal growth and resilience during times of change. Organizational change and leadership. The conversation turns to how leaders and organizations can facilitate change effectively. The classmates reflect on the roles of communication, culture, and leadership in helping teams navigate uncertainty. Communicating the vision. The group agrees that leaders must clearly communicate the reasons for change and the potential benefits. This helps alleviate fear and resistance by providing a sense of direction and purpose. Creating a culture of adaptability. Jessica points out that organizations that value adaptability and innovation are better equipped to handle change. Encouraging employees to experiment, take risks, and share ideas fosters a more resilient and flexible workplace. Leading by example. Leaders who model adaptability and openness to change inspire their teams to do the same. By demonstrating courage and optimism, leaders can create a ripple effect that motivates others to embrace change. The impact of resistance to change. Hem's character serves as a focal point for discussing the dangers of resisting change. The group acknowledges that many people, like Hem, struggle to let go of the past and adapt to new circumstances. They explore the reasons behind this resistance and how it can be overcome. Fear and comfort zones. Resistance often stems from fear of the unknown and a desire to remain in familiar territory. The classmates agree that addressing these fears and providing support can help individuals take the first steps toward change. The cost of inaction. The group discusses how clinging to outdated methods or ideas can lead to stagnation and missed opportunities. They cite examples of companies that failed to innovate and ultimately became obsolete. Encouraging a growth mindset. By fostering a culture of continuous learning and improvement, individuals and organizations can overcome resistance and thrive in changing environments. Insights for the future. As the discussion concludes, the classmates reflect on how they can apply the lessons from the story to their own lives moving forward. They make personal commitments to embrace change, stay proactive, and support others in their journeys. Michael's commitment. Michael, who shared the story, resolves to continue encouraging his team at work to anticipate and adapt to change. He plans to share the parable with his colleagues as a way to inspire them. Anna's goals. Anna decides to approach her next workplace challenge with a more open mind and a willingness to experiment with new ideas. Nathan's perspective. Nathan feels motivated to pursue new opportunities that he previously avoided out of fear. He sees change as a chance for growth rather than a threat. The power of stories. One of the final points the group discusses is the enduring power of stories like Who Moved My Cheese? By using simple characters and a relatable metaphor, the parable conveys profound lessons in an accessible and memorable way. The classmates agree that stories can inspire people to reflect on their own behavior and make positive changes in their lives. The takeaway message. The overarching message of Part 6 is that the lessons from the parable are universally applicable and can inspire meaningful change in various aspects of life. Whether it's navigating personal transitions, adapting to workplace challenges, or leading others through uncertainty, the story provides a framework for understanding and embracing change. The classmates leave the meeting with a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to apply the lessons they've learned. They recognize that while change can be daunting, it also offers opportunities for growth, innovation, and fulfillment. By adopting a proactive and adaptable mindset, they can overcome obstacles and create a brighter future for themselves and those around them. Conclusion. Who Moved My Cheese? Is more than just a story, it's a mirror reflecting our own responses to change. Through the maze and its four memorable characters, Spencer Johnson delivers a timeless message: change is inevitable, but how we choose to respond to it defines our success and happiness. This powerful fable reminds us that clinging to the past only holds us back, while adapting and moving forward unlocks new opportunities. It teaches us to overcome fear, embrace uncertainty, and take proactive steps to create a brighter future. As you close the book, you're left with a renewed sense of purpose and the tools to face life's changes with courage and confidence. The simplicity of the story ensures its lessons are unforgettable, making Who Moved My Cheese? Not just a book you read, but one you live by. If you've ever struggled with change or want to prepare yourself for the next curveball life throws, this book is a must-read. If you enjoyed the summary, then like the video and subscribe to Audiobooks Vault. Tell us if there is any other book you want us to summarize. Goodbye.